What is up, guys? I hope you're having a great day. So, killing Commander Zilyana, the Saradomin boss in the God Wars dungeon, is way easier than you might think. Zilly is actually the easiest boss in the God Wars dungeon to solo, but she does hit really hard and quickly, and you're going to need to kite her and Starlight, her melee minion, to avoid all of the damage from her, while tanking Bree, the ranger, and praying against Growler, the mage. So let's get into it and get you ready to grind out your ACB or SGS. For requirements, you will need 70 agility, the Death Plateau quest completed, partial completion of the Troll Stronghold quest, 80 or higher in ranged, 44 prayer for Eagle Eye, or 77 prayer if you can get your hands on a deck scroll for rigor, 80 defense, 80 HP, and optionally 76 mage and the Kingdom Divided quest completed if you want to be able to bring thralls. And if you're an Iron Man, you will need 77 or 74 with a +3 boost in Herb Lore to be able to make your staminas. Your brews and restores are probably going to be coming from the grubby chest, or you can just use Sharks and Karambwan. Next, you're going to need to know how to get there. If you've completed Edgar's Ruse, you can use the Trollheim teleport in the standard spellbook and just bring the runes with you. You can make a Trollheim tab with the House teleport tab and a scroll of redirection from the Nightmare Zone. And then you will use the Eastern Agility shortcuts to go down the mountain, where you'll need to pray range to get past the thrower trolls. Or you can use Gommel's Hilt from the Combat Achievement Diaries, which is going to teleport you right in front of the boulder. Easy completion of the Combat Achievement Diaries will give you 3 daily teleports. Medium will give you 5, and hard will give you unlimited. To reach the entrance, you're going to need 60 strength for about a 12-second entry pushing the boulder, or 60 agility to use the shortcut, which is about a 5-second entry. With 70 agility and 2 more ropes that you'll be placing here on the rock, and then down here on the next rock, you'll be able to make it down to where Saradomin's encampment is. And I would suggest setting up all of the ropes before you're ready to take your first trip, so that way you do not lose 2 inventory spaces. Gear and inventory are up next. While the T-bow is best in slot, I'm assuming most of you watching this won't have one. Neither do I. For a low-end setup, you're going to want to bring Saradomin and Zami D'hide, or Carols. The God D'hide will give you a prayer bonus, so grab some of that if you can, and it will also get rid of the NPC aggression to the corresponding minions. In Saradomin's encampment, you will only be finding Saradomin and Zamorak minions, so that will give you complete coverage from everything in that part of the dungeon. You want to bring a Rune or Dragon Crossbow for ranging cape, or an Ava's Assembler, or any of the lower grade versions of this. Pharaoh's Gloves or God D'hide Vambraces, a Crystal Shield, a Glory or a Fury, a Ring of Recoil, Life, Archer's Ring, or a Brimstone Ring will all work well. A God D'hide Coif, Archer's Helm, or Varrock's Helm if you want to have some extra defense. And then Adamant or Dragon Diamond Bolt's Ease, you'll be able to make use of the bolt effect from that, which is going to ignore part of the defense of whatever you're attacking. Bringing Ruby Bolts isn't recommended here, as Sarah's health is not high enough for it to really make that much of a difference. For your inventory, you can bring a Blowpipe and a Serpentine Visage if you have them to venom all the minions and decrease the amount of time you're going to spend on them at the end of the kill. Using those both together has a 100% chance of venoming on successful hit, as long as they are not immune to poison or venom. You'll want 2 to 3 range potions, 4 prayer potions, 4 stamina potions, 3 brew, 4 restore, 1 angler, and then some shark and Karambwan for combo food. If you're bringing thralls, make sure you bring the Book of the Dead in your inventory. You're going to also want a house tab for a 1-click teleport to get out, some Bones to Peaches tabs to make some extra food while you're in the room, and your Gommel's Hilt, or however else you're teleporting out to Trollheim. For a higher tier setup, I would take Bofa and full Crystal, or Twisted Bow and full Armadillo, with some Saradomin God D'hide boots, Pharaoh's Gloves, your Ava's Assembler, Necklace of Anguish, Ancient Blessing so you can go bank, and a Ring of Suffering. Other than that, your inventory and the run are basically the same, except you are able to attack 1 tick sooner with the Bofa, as it's a 4-tick weapon instead of a 5-tick weapon like the crossbows are. And then you'd also want to be bringing a rune pouch with your runes for thralls, and you would be using the Skeletal Ranger. Now that we know about all this, we can talk about the kill count you'll need to enter Zilyana's room. In the God Wars dungeon, you're going to need 15 to 40 KC of whichever boss's minion you are trying to go and kill per entry into their room, which you'll get 1 KC per minion, but Combat Achievement lowers the total amount that you need. Starting at the hard tier, going from 40 to 35, Elite will get you from 35 to 30, Master will get you from 30 to 25, and Grandmaster will take you down from 25 to 15. For your kill count, you're only going to need to tag them. I would go for the Spiritual Rangers and Spiritual Magers if you have the Slayer level to kill those, as you'll be able to get some Dragon Boots and make some money while you're getting kill count from the mages. They won't aggro onto you when they're attacked, as long as they're already in combat with something, so go ahead and let the other NPCs tank for you. You don't need to take that extra damage. The boss and boss minions also grant kill count towards your next entry into the room, totaling at 4 KC per boss kill if all the minions die as well. If you can, bank it next. Makes your life really easy. You'll need 1 key shard from each of the God Wars dungeon bosses, and you'll earn those on your first KC of each boss. You'll use those to build the key and unlock the room to get into next. Once you go in there, you'll want to build up enough KC in the ancient room for a few bank trips, and then you'll want to go and get your KC at Sarah. Once you're in the room and you get back to 40 KC in Sarah, you'll be able to use the altar to teleport out of the room and be put right back outside the door to Zilly's room. You'll then go to Nex, resupply there, and you head back over to Zilly. Getting KC in the ancient room is actually a lot faster than all of the other God Wars dungeon boss rooms. You'll be granted 3 to 5 KC per kill depending on what you kill, instead of 1 like the original 4 bosses. If you kill a melee or ranged minion in the ancient room, you'll receive 2 kill count. A Blood Reaver will give you 3, and a Mage will give you 5. If you die or teleport out, your KC is going to be wiped, and you'll have to collect your kill count over from scratch. So using the Nex Bank is a very nice way to be able to save all of your kill count that you already have for Saradomin, as you're not leaving the dungeon, so it's not going to wipe it. If you do die though, it'll place your grave safely outside of the boss room. That way you don't have to try to collect everything while Zilly and everything's chasing you around. You can instance the room, that way you can avoid being crashed, but if the torch is lit outside of the room, you'll have to world hop, as only 1 person or a group iron team is allowed in the instance for any boss on any world. The hard combat achievement grants access to instancing for 150k per instance. Elite will drop it down to 125k, Master to 100k, and Grandmaster to 75k. You are able to skip the KC to enter one of the boss rooms if you have an ecumenical key. Those are dropped at a rate of 1 out of 60 in the Wilderness God Wars dungeon. Each combat achievement tier completed starting with hard lowers the drop rate by 5, with hard being 1 out of 55, Elite 1 out of 50, Master 1 out of 45, and Grandmaster 1 out of 40. You'll also be able to make these keys from the shards that you receive from Nex's loot table. 50 shards will equal 1 key when combined. If you do go the Wilderness route, wear cheap god armor of all 4 gods. An example of this would be a Holy Neck, Zamorak Monk Top, Armadyl Rune Legs, and a Bandos Book. Be able to bring a Dragon Scimitar or any other melee weapon, which you will most likely protect on death. This is going to be a fairly cheap setup, with the most expensive pieces of it being your melee weapon and the Armadyl Rune Legs, since those come from clue scrolls. If you're an iron, that's also probably going to be the hardest piece to get for you, but you could avoid putting a Zami piece on and use a different piece of armor there if that is going to get you protection from everything else, as you'll mostly be killing imps, but remember to pray against the other Zami minions. Killing imps or any of the other weaker monsters is going to be faster keys, but also, it is a wilderness. Make sure you've got skull prevention turned on. Zilyana's minions are pretty straightforward. Starlight the Unicorn has a max hit of 15 and uses melee. Next up is Bree the Centaur with a max hit of 16. This is the minion that you are going to be tanking throughout the whole fight. Next up is Growler, the Lion, which has a max hit of 16 as well and uses magic. Since we're protecting against magic the whole fight, you won't have to worry about any of Growler's attacks. However, if you let Zilyana catch up to you and Bree and Starlight both max on you, that will be a 31 on top of whatever damage that Zilyana does to you as well. So you really have to make sure that you're not letting Zilyana and Starlight catch up to you, because that can stack you out really quick, and that's pretty much just a one-way ticket straight back to Lumbee. Bruh. Zilyana herself has a max hit of 27 with melee and 20 with magic, and she also attacks on a 2-tick cycle. The loot from Zilyana isn't really the best, aside from her 2 high-ticket drops, being the Armadyl Crossbow and the Saradomin Hilt, both dropping at a rate of 1 out of 508. Saradomin's Light can also be helpful, sort of. It's used to slightly brighten up the Zamorak dungeon, and is also combined with the Staff of the Dead to make the Staff of Light, and it drops at a rate of 1 out of 254. And lastly, Zilyana Jr. the Pet will be dropping at a rate of 1 out of 5,000. Now you know pretty much everything you need to. Let's head out to the God Wars dungeon and check out a live kill. And I'll give a quick example of where your teleports are going to take you. For me, I'm going to use the Gommel's Hilt, right-click, and go to Trollheim. As you can see, it teleports us right in front of the 2 shortcuts. If you use the Trollheim teleport or... Alright, so we actually have a chance at a stale baguette. That's a kebab, I don't want that. Anyway, so if you use the Trollheim teleport in the standard spellbook or used a Trollheim teleport tablet, this is where you'll end up. To get down over to the God Wars dungeon, you're going to want to take these agility shortcuts down the eastern side of the mountain, as it's going to be a lot shorter than taking this one, because you will have to run all the way down and all the way around all of that to get here. This way, you just climb down 3 shortcuts and have a short little run over there. Why I'm failing this at 80 agility, but whatever. Alright, so now you're going to protect from ranged and run past these thrower trolls. And here we are, at the entrance to the valley, which will hold the entrance to the God Wars dungeon. So you have 2 options here, as we mentioned before. You can push the boulder, which is a lower stat requirement, and something you'll probably have, but it will take a very long time to go through. The other option, and the one I would recommend as it's a lot faster, is using the agility shortcut. As you can see, this is a lot faster. Now that you're in here, as you can see, I have the fire built over here, Fire of Unseasonal Warmth. What that does is it gets rid of the winter storm effect in the area. If it's your first time coming through, or you just haven't completed making friends with my arm and then gone and mined the basalt to make this yet, you're going to be receiving a stat draining effect similar to that of the Desert Treasure 1 Ice Diamond portion of the quest, which is right over here. And it's just really not a good time. It'll drain your run energy, all of your other stats, and you'll have to sip some restore to replenish that. Alright, so as we run over here, we're going to notice that there are 3 wolves over here, all 132 combat. We're going to protect from melee and run over here. And I'm not sure if they've removed this from the game or not, but there used to be a knight that you had to talk to right at the entrance over here, to where you wouldn't be able to climb into the hole for the God Wars dungeon unless you talked to them, but it automatically forced you to talk to them, or gave you a chat box prompt at the least that you needed, that there was somebody trying to catch your attention. After speaking to them, you get a quick little bit of lore, and then you're able to place your rope, which will stay forever once it's placed, and climb down into the God Wars dungeon. Since a lot of the Saradomin minions are right here, you're not always going to get attacked right off the bat, but this is the God Wars dungeon. You'll be able to see there are gods from all of the bosses fighting each other. Since we're wearing the Saradomin and Zamorak God D-Hide, we're not getting attacked by anything Saradomin or Zamorak. I don't think that Aviancy can see me, but what you're going to want to do is run down this way towards the waterfall, and that is going to put you at the Saradomin encampment entrance. Here, you'll need to place another rope on this rock and have 70 agility to be able to climb down. And the next level down is going to be where you want to get all of your kill count at, since there are no other minions besides the ones that you are protected against. And again, as you can see, the werewolf is going to be tanking, and if I were to attack this mage that's already in combat, it does not really care about me because it is focusing on what is attacking it. Then, to get down to the actual entrance to Saradomin's room, you'll need to place another rope and climb down here again. And this is also another area where you can work on getting your kill count. Before, I did mention for irons or anybody trying to instance, you are able to see if there is already an instance in this world here. There will be a little blue fire burning here, and that basically means you have to hop worlds because there is only 1 instance per boss per world allowed. So, to set up the shift left click specifically for Starlight, you have menu entry swapper enabled, and then you're going to shift right click, and you're going to change the shift left click options on Starlight to walk here. Now, if I shift left click on Starlight, no matter what I do, it won't try to attack it. Now, as you can see, no matter what I do, as long as I'm holding down shift while I left click on Starlight, I can't attack it. It'll be trying to attack it, and I'll have a red X click instead of a yellow X click. Head back into the dungeon, and we are going to now head over to next, and that's going to be to show the banking method. So from the entrance, you are going to head south to this door. That is, if you have all of the frozen key pieces, and I've already made it, you'll be able to unlock the door here and get into the room. This first portion of the room is if you are actually doing Nex. If you die, all of your equipment is going to be in the chest here. And this is also the reason why I brought the Ancient God D-Hide boots, since it'll give me the NPC aggression protection from everything in this room as well. So we're going to come through the door, and we're going to be killing some spiritual mages. I'm going to go ahead and throw on Protect from Magic and kill the mage. Since I have the Slayer level to kill these, this is the best option. These will poison you though, so keep that in mind. That's why it's a good idea to wear your Serp Helm and your Blowpipe, because they will die faster, you'll venom them, and you won't get poisoned. Don't know why I was trying to pick up those air runes. Basically, you're just going to go around, kill the mages, and as you can see, that gave me 5 kill count for 1 mage. So getting your KC to bank is very, very fast. The bank is going to be through this door over here to the east, and we will go check that out later once I have the kill count. And yes, this does, like, quote-unquote waste some of your supplies before the boss, but it sets you up for multiple trips, so you don't ever have to worry about teleporting out, losing your KC at Sarah, and having a very long time getting back into the room again. So what I'm going to do is just collect 80 ancient kill count. That'll give me 2 entries to bank, and then I'll see you at the door to Sarah. And the nice thing about killing the mages too is sometimes they drop Super Restore 3 for you. So if you do go through a lot of your prayer points while you're getting KC, that is a nice way to replenish them. Alright, now let's go check out the bank. I do have my 80 KC, but I am going to use 40 of them right now to go into the bank because I realized I don't have my ecumenical key. And for the sake of the speed of recording this guide, I want to take one. So So once you are in this room, you are able to bank with this ghost here. That's all there is to it as far as using Nex as a bank goes. Take out my ecumenical key here. All right, so now that we have all of that set up, we can go ahead and pre-pot. So what I'm going to do is back out of here, click rapid heal to reset the down tick on my health. Then I'm going to wait for this next down tick on my buffs, and I'm going to use a ranging potion, throw on a stamina dose, and eat an angler. Now what we can do is take our 3-dose pots and replace them with 4-dose pots, replace the angler slot with probably just another store, and then we will go back out through this door. Don't teleport or you will lose all of your kill count. Then we can run back through here, go back out this door, and you want to keep an eye on the down tick of your health so you can keep it above your max. Clicking rapid heal will reset that, and that way you will not lose any of your overheal until you start taking damage. Now what we're going to do is run over to Sarah's room at parade range just in case the avian sea decided it wanted to attack me. We'll go down that one, and then we'll go down this next rock over here, and we are back at the door. So now what we can do, restore the health down tick again. If you want to instance it, open private, you can pay 150k to get in so you don't get crashed, which for the sake of the video, I'm going to do as well. So what you're going to want to do is throw on your protect from magic, throw on your either Eagle Eye or Rigor. Enter the door however you're going to do it. If you don't already have Protect from Magic and Rigor on, we're going to turn those on and run counterclockwise around the room. And there is Zilyana's attack animation stall, so we are going to wait for her to start walking again, and then continue running around the room. That way she doesn't just cut across a big open area to catch up to us. And then you want to make sure you're attacking her once in each corner and once in the middle of the room, as long as you have enough gap to not get hit by her. And you do want to make sure you're hugging the walls while you're fighting her, that way she has the least amount of corner to cut as you change walls.
Can I trust you?
And this is a pretty good amount of space to leave in between you and the boss, that way you are not getting hit, but you can still attack. And you want to make sure you are topping up on your stamina potion and your prayer potions, as well as food whenever you need to. And that is pretty much the whole fight. It's not anything too complicated, just don't let Zilyana and Starlight catch up to you, and stay on top of your resources, and you're set. And I probably should have waited a little bit there to let her catch up so she didn't take quite as much of the corner when I moved over to the other wall, but that's alright. Now if my crossbow would just stop noodling, that would be awesome. And this just goes to show, even with a lower end setup, you still are able to defeat Commander Zilyana.
Can I trust you?
Alright, now that Zilyana's dead, we're going to keep our crossbow on and keep kiting Starlight around the room until it dies. If you do switch over to the blowpipe, you're going to have a lot shorter of a range, and you're going to take a lot of damage from Starlight as you're trying to kite it around. Alright, now that Starlight's dead, we'll switch to our Blowpipe and our Serp and attack Growler to get a poison on him, and then Bree. Since we're not protected against Bree, we'll kill that first. Throw our Blowpipe specs out to get some more health. Then we'll switch over to Growler, kill Growler really quick. And you are able to see in the buff bar the time until Sarah respawns, so you can always keep track of it there. It looks like I'm running a little close on time. Alright, so we are not in the right spot that we would usually like to start the second attempt in, but I'm going to show you how we would do it here. So when Zilly spawns, you're going to want to run away from her and tag Bree, start running again, tag Starlight, and then run up the side and tag Growler. And then we're going to switch back into our normal weapons, and that's basically just a rinse and repeat for the rest of the run. Zilyana is super easy, and if you get lucky and get a drop like the Armadillo crossbow, that is actually pretty expensive right now, so that'll be a nice boost to your bank, or a very nice upgrade for your gear. And that's where I'm going to call it. If you guys enjoyed the video or learned something, feel free to hit that sub button. It's free, it'll make this guy really happy, and it'll also help grow the channel. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.